Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're well. I am well myself, and I have a message. And like you have seen, the title says, Between Now and Then, Prepare. So I have to tell you something about this message. I got it yesterday, and I got it from listening to a different minister. So because I was listening to someone else and I got that message, I thought it was just my own. And later I felt this urge to come here where I am and share this message. But then I thought it's jokes. Yeah, I thought it's just me. And that tells you that, like I haven't been listening properly as well as I should. Yeah. So this message is so important, and I realized that because I've ever been in a place where I needed a message like this, because miracles had happened. I think I was waiting for had come to pass. I don't know if that is better, because it looks so sunny, but now it looks a bit too. No, that is good. Yeah. So I've ever been in a place where I was waiting, had waited for 7 years. And when that thing finally happened, and you know which thing that is, if you've been here for a while, and even though this includes visitors, you'll be intrigued by this message because it's supposed to go straight into your heart. You may not feel the weight of it until it's actually happening. Yeah. So anyway, before I left home, I always, even from the beginning, knew that how I want some things to be, and simple things. It would be simple things like what do I want to wear? How do I want my hair to look like, as I'm going to Canada? Okay. So at first it was always me thinking my dreadlocks will be so long by then, and I could see myself walking in the streets. The bit of it I had seen, I could see myself walking there with my dreads on my back, yeah. But then by the end, by the 6th year, there came a time of consecration, yeah. And so in this period of consecration, because a lot was being revealed, and because it was being revealed in a way that was shocking me and just bringing me into recognition of the things that had happened before, sort of revealing things that had happened before that I had no way of substantiating because they were coming from somebody else. But this was me being awakened so that when I get to the other side, the revelation will not be as strange. Yeah. So it's like I was getting, I was being familiarized with, the things that had happened in the secret, yeah. And these things were not in totality. That was just actually just a tip, of what I was going to, to get to understand. Now, I was saying, in that time, because sometimes when they come to share messages, sometimes we have our own legalities, yeah. Like we will say the Lord wants us to be wearing in this manner, like reading from Romans, from Corinthians, you see, Paul advising the women to be covered in a certain way when they go to places of worship and all of that. And for a long time, because we were following certain, teachings, let's say like Paul's teaching, we would think of things a certain way, yeah. But we forget often that there were so many prophets, yeah. And because God uses all of this to teach us, you may be going through a process that that will show you different people, yeah. And you will realize that at this moment, or honestly, I'm operating like so and so, yeah. Sometimes you have this much legality that you're operating like Paul, and sometimes you have, you're like so you're like a renegade, yeah. You're operating like who Samson, right? With your dreadlocks, you're operating like Elijah. He says a thing even before the Lord says, and he walks into places with so much authority. He had this love for God, and such conviction, yeah. I see the same thing with Paul, yeah, but he had this conviction and he would declare a thing because he knew the power that was backing him, yeah, and then he would have to suffer so much for it. A lot of times Christians are saying, I've waited so long, why do I have to wait this much, why do I have to do this much? Let me tell you, for people especially who are breaking chains, do you realize how many years, even generations of chains you're breaking, you know? Things that were, you know, little sins that were done over and over again until they became iniquity. And you know that because you also did the same thing. If it was like a sin of gossip, you did it over and over and over again until it became iniquity. So much so that you were doing it as a young person, let's say a young girl, and then you get your children, you're doing it, and even your children get that kind of, you know, attitude, right? Like they will view the world according to the things you speak, even though you've not been speaking this gossip to them. In fact, sometimes you're like, no, get out of here, yeah, don't listen to grown-up talk and all of that, yeah. That is just an example. There's sins like sexual sins that you repeat time and time again. You're waiting for thunder to strike you, it doesn't come, so you think you're safe, and you keep repeating, you know, until it is a sin so concrete it becomes an iniquity, yeah. And now it's not something that even started with you, it started with your forefathers. So you've been repeating this thing, you know, and it becomes, you know, like second nature to you. Like it's secret, you're hiding it, but you've repeated it so many times, yeah. That is the much holiness you're going to garner. Okay, that is the much repentance you're going to do. And because God is merciful, let me tell you, it won't be as much. For you, it will feel like it's that much, but then it will be in portions, just like, you know, this much, yeah. In every place you go, in every time that God calls you back for consecration, you'll have to do so much, yeah. There's a time you'll have to lose so much. You will feel like I'll never be able, you know, to be like restored, right? Like this cannot come back again. As much as I'm saying that, yeah, this is about preparation, yeah. And I know some people have been feeling like, I've been in this thing so long, I've been praying and trusting God for this miracle so much, and you're only focused on the miracle, not realizing that the thing that is pulling you is just that portion. But the thing that is surrounding that miracle is your actual ministry. Okay, so for you for this pain that you're feeling, yes, it will come to an end, but a ministry will be born out of the discipline you had to garner, out of the prayers you had to pray, out of the knowledge you had to gain, yeah. Because so much is against you, but through knowledge will you escape, right? So you had to gain so much knowledge, so much revelation, so many things in the physical, so much in the spirit. You had to become grown, like you had to grow and build muscle, you know. And muscles are not built in one day. It is practice after practice after practice. Let me take you back to the hair scenario. So because of that kind of consecration and because of the kind of leader, you know, I was following at that time, that I needed to actually, that had to, you know, pray for me and their beliefs, I cut my hair. Okay, so my vision, I let go because I was thinking these are just my own things, yeah. So I wasn't going, not that I was forced to cut my hair, yeah. But, you know, at that point, I'm feeling, I have to be a new creature, you know, divine in some ways. But so I let go of that vision, not knowing that this release that's coming, this miracle that's coming, is not the end. There's going to be a walk, you know. After I received that miracle I was waiting for so many years, I was going to still do the things that I have read about, like the children of Israel arriving into the land, and no, there were no ready houses for them. There was no ready land. It had to be divided. They had to be divided, like in the groups they were traveling in. They had to have the land portioned. It wasn't like a free for all, run and grab what you want, yeah. So they had to do all of that and start building. Okay, that is a lot of work. It is a lot of hard work. I have been observing, or maybe something about you know, I don't think it's the algorithm, yeah, but I've had the opportunity to see people who are coming, abroad now. And like I mentioned a while ago, these are now the last ones. We are among the last people coming to that land of, of dreams, yeah, making dreams come true, America, right? The first people to enter other lands are already doing that, okay? There are people who accessed Asia, the lands you never thought you could go to, yeah? And they're already building, they're already building in those lands. They're pioneers there, and they're not talking. They're just building, okay? It is the last ones that get to talk, and that is why you see this in this generation, so much revelation coming. People actually reporting America is not what you think it is, UK is not what you think it is. They are like, it's not negative talk, because they get to live, yeah, they get to stay there, they get to dwell there once they've done their bit, yeah. But these are the reporters. They're reporting what is to happen, so that somebody else who is supposed to be redirected and stop focusing on the thing that people have always known, because that was powered that way, was spiritually powered to draw some people into that land. Do you understand? Whenever a land is able to raise people and give them an opportunity, that will be spiritually powered, and people who are supposed to benefit from that will be given that information, okay? So there will be positive information about this place. I read a book a while ago, and I didn't get much into it, but it was about this this lady in Massachusetts, writing about her story. And she talked about how her grandpa came into America. It was those stories you hear where, somebody is working at a yard or a port, and they hear about this land, yeah, that people are going. And one day, just this random worker, is like, if you guys give me a lift, I'll work my way to the land, yeah. And once you get there, just let me out of the ship, and I'll penetrate the land and make a living. So this guy will never be able to say that such a ship brought me or anything. Anyway, a lot of people used to come like that to America, like that, yeah, to the new land. A lot of Italians landed here that way. It's ironic, but I mean, this area is majorly inhabited by Italians and I think Indians and Nepalese, yeah. Anyway, so a lot of people, there's a huge Italian presence in Worcester and Shrewsbury and a lot of other places, yeah. But actually there's an Italian restaurant up that way. Anyway, so people used to come like that. Those were the first people who were just looking for opportunities, yeah. And it goes on for generations. Those people have their generations come, and there are people now who have dwelt here. They're just, like, a lot of their people have joined them, yeah. So many generations of the same. As we were still dreaming, yeah, maybe in the 80s we were dreaming, oh, America, this land of opportunity. But by the time we are arriving here, people are going to other places. People have always gone to other places, but I'm talking about an exodus, yeah, where people go in huge numbers to a place just to get an opportunity, yeah. Now people are even being driven out of America, and they're searching, other places, opportunities in other places, yeah. America used to be, even lately, America used to have such a huge name that, there are people who would come, who would get visas to Canada, but their plan is to get here. So they would come to Canada and then, cross the borders illegally to America just to be here, jina kubwa. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, the Lord has made a promise to you. Actually, that is where I'm coming. But I think it was, necessary for people to understand that, because sometimes the Lord will change things, will relocate you to a different place that was not in your mind, yeah? And as you have seen the journey of Isaac, yeah, he had plenty. He was like, my dad has roamed these places, yeah. So if these people don't want me to live by this well, it's fine, you know, but I will name it a place of coral or something and move on to the next place, yeah, until he reaches a place where, you know, this land is called Rehoboth, right? The third place that they dug a well, and the water is fine, it's, you know, drinkable, it's, they can feed their animals, you know, they can live there, they can live and dwell there. This guy even goes ahead to plant, you know, and his crop is doing well to a point where Abimelech, yeah, and his cohorts, or his you know, leaders of his army come to meet him, and they're like, hey, my guy, it seems like even though we chased you away, we can see your blessing, okay? We can see your blessing. We see what you're doing, yeah? And we just want to make peace with you. We just want to sit here and eat with you, if that's okay. And being a godly guy, even though he was grudging, he just allowed them to feast with him and spend the night. And then the Lord says, now I'm moving you to a different place. Wasn't he planning to look to stay there? You know, because now here he's found peace. There's no quarrel. It's peaceful. But the Lord again tells him, no, I want to move you to a different place. And when he reached there, the water was even sweet. Like, you don't even think that is possible sometimes. You know, there's somebody who is getting a visa today, and I know you guys are preparing, yeah, getting results. And I'm not saying that you should say. Let me tell you, your blessing is in such increment that there's some things you will say, even though you know not to say now, but there's some things the Lord will allow you to say as a testimony, yeah. I was so fascinated when I went back to school, and the Lord was saying, go tell about this. It was 3 months on, and I'm like, are we supposed to tell the things that are happening in this season? You know, the same, you know, season, in the same season I moved, and I was like, are we supposed to tell? Why am I telling about the things that are happening to me now? And they're so exciting to me. Aren't these my own? You know, why are these people getting everything? But apparently, if you're doing a journey with people, there are things they get to know. I remember even when I was living in Kenya, there was an inner circle and there was, you know, an outer circle. Yeah, people who got to know last while other people knew first. You know, it's like they were supposed to help me prepare and all of that. They were supposed to aid me in the journey. What I'm saying is that God has spoken to a lot of you, has talked to you about the blessing that is going to happen. And the Bible says the things that are revealed to us are for us and our children, yeah. And because you have waited for these things so long and now it has happened, even the joy and energy of it has been removed, yeah. But you're like, okay, so now what do I do? And there's a vision that had been given to you a long time ago. You could see yourself in a different land, because I've actually done a video where I say what happens, you know, the new things that happen when you're coming into a new blessing. You will feel songs playing in your mind and in your spirit. Day and night, there will be song playing in your spirit. There will be smells that you will, you know, like you'll smell things that you've never smelled before, but you know, this is not about this place. This is not perfume that has come my way. No, it talks about some place else that I'm going, you know. Different things that God will communicate to you so that you feel the newness, you know, new energy, new. So however God is communicating with you, because some people hear things, some people smell things, some people see things, you know, they see visions of things that are going to happen, yeah. Remember the vision that you wrote, remember the vision that God showed you, okay, so that you prepare accordingly. So then I cut my hair, okay? And now when I cut my hair, I was sporting a very short haircut. And then I was wondering, how am I going to deal with this? Because after a few days, it was clear this is unmanageable. So I had this feeling that I should get my hair in braids, okay? Now you would think this is so, like, it doesn't make sense, but it does, yeah. So I kept telling myself, go to a salon, make your hair. But because of the energy and the joy that left me upon receiving that very much awaited visa, I did not care anymore. I was like, this thing that I had written, I built it up so much. So now that it's here, I just want to go. You know, it's not that I don't want it. It's not that I don't desire. It's not like I don't have plans, you know, new plans for that place, but the energy was out. So I didn't care. I didn't even make my hair. And let me tell you, maybe this served a purpose to the people I was supposed to meet, to the giants I was supposed to meet, that would see me as a grasshopper and act accordingly, yeah? But for me, I think it would have done something to my spirit to be better prepared. Anyway, so that is that about the hair story. But yeah, there are people who are thinking, ata sijali, I just want to be on the other side so I can start. Let me tell you, for now, because it has been revealed to you, this is a season where God has been doing a lot of things as surprises. Like, you'll sleep today, there's no vision, there's no dream. He did not tell you something is going to happen, but it happens, okay, overnight. And you're like, I did not see this coming. Like, what's the date? What is this? You know, I thought because before the Lord does something, he will speak to, you know, a few witnesses. No, this is a period the Lord has been doing that. But among all the surprises, you know, there's something that God has spoken to you too. You may not have been ready. You may not have felt it. You may not have dreamt it. You may not have been discussing it, you know, but it happens, and the Lord gives you a time to prepare, or rather the Lord gives you a time frame before you get there. What are you supposed to do with that time? I already said prepare. But let me tell you, if you think this is just a normal or regular message, like you should prepare for where you're going, it is not. If the Lord has brought me here again after I ignored this message yesterday, just know it's not jokes. You're supposed to prepare. And I'm telling you the hair story. It's not just hair that I didn't prepare for. It was a lot of things. But I'm telling you the hair story so that you know the Lord is even in the little details, the things that you don't think he cares about, making yourself look presentable before you go somewhere. He's into that, you know. But also he wants you to prepare between now and the time that you're going to leave, the time you're going to relocate, the time you're going to start a new job, the time that you're going to do something new. He wants you to prepare. And this is so serious. I want you to start asking the Lord, how do you want me to prepare? Because there's some things. Let me tell you, have you ever had you know, the Lord take you somewhere just to meet one person, and then after you've met that person and done what he wanted you to do and passed the test, he moves you on, but you were thinking, I'm going to stay here forever, so I must act accordingly. Sometimes the preparation is not heightened, you know, and then you reach there, and then no sooner have you gotten comfortable, you've done your thing, and you're thinking, okay, if this was the battle I was sent here to fight, I've done well. Okay, now I begin. You know, maybe you're beginning to now work. Yeah, maybe it's a workplace. You're now beginning to work, and the Lord is like, I'm sending you to the next place, and you're like, nope, I can't keep doing these things for people. You know, I need to also rest. But I'm telling you, it's the building. The building has to keep continuing, you know, and we feel like it's so unfair sometimes. Like, why? You know why? Okay? You know why? Because you've been called for this purpose. You've been called for this work, yeah? Build. You keep building, because you're not building for just you. The sins that were committed, as well as the building that was done by the people before you, was to transcend through generations. You're doing the same thing, okay? Now, this, sometimes you look at people and you're thinking, these people don't have to do as much. They just do things for themselves, you know, they work for themselves. Everything they do is to give them joy. That is not you, my dear. Some people are living their blessings, and that is why they don't quit, you know. That is why these blessings don't quit. Like, they keep getting increments, yeah. That will be you. That will be you and your descendants, okay? They will be receiving more because of the much that you did. So you may feel like the Lord doesn't care about you, but he does. I'm urging you to read Malachi 1 as well as Habakkuk. I'm actually going to send that message to somebody. because these people, like, I thought this was about them, because I've been, talking to certain people, and I've been overflowing and thinking I'm scaring these people with the much that I have, because I see how depressed they are at being in a position I've been before, and I'm like, God, they're so lucky that they're getting somebody to tell them this. But let me tell you, lucky as they are, they may just decide this is not worth it, or decide, okay, because of this encouragement, I'm gonna go the whole whole, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm checking the temperature outside because I want to go outside. Maybe the next message I will do from outside. It's not too bad. It's kind of hot, but not too bad, yeah? So guys, I hope I've communicated this. It was so important that I do. I just hope you receive it and do what you're supposed to. Bye-bye.